Hi, class. So it feels like maybe a little bit more guidance and clarity is going to be helpful for the group as a whole as we work through this week's major topic of research problems and problem statements. So as you all know, we're engaging with this topic two different ways this week. First off, you are looking for the problems and the problem statements within the two research articles that I posted in class. And then as well, you are also workshopping some of your basic ideas for what the problem might be that you're investigating in your study. So what's come up in these two activities and these two discussions over the first few days of the week here is trying to A, understand what a problem is, and then B, stopping there and not moving forward to the study purpose. So let's talk about the problem statement first off. This really is the key to even having a research project at all. It is where you say, here's this thing, here's this topic, and there's something about it that I don't understand, that is problematic, that is an issue that cannot be explained, that I don't have an answer for. Okay, that all is the idea of a problem. I use that term, but it's all those sorts of things, right? If you can't say that, if you can't say, here's the issue, here's the thing I don't understand, here's the problem, there's no reason to do a research study. There's nothing that needs to be addressed. There's nothing that actually needs to have data collected and understood in any further capacity. So if you don't have a problem statement, you don't have a research study. So that's why we start here with that very, very foundational piece. And that's all I need you to do and all I want you to do and to focus on for our two activities this week, as well as for the upcoming assignment, which we'll talk about a little bit more in a minute. You just need to say, there's a problem. Here it is. End of story. Okay, that being said, let's put a little line there. Now I'm going to talk about study purpose. We are not to the point where you need to establish your study purpose. You actually will not write your study purpose until we get to our second assignment, so not the one that's due at the end of this week. But enough people are kind of mixing up problem and purpose that I think it's important to address that. So whereas the problem is, here's the issue at hand, the thing that's not understood well. The purpose is then, and here is how I am going to attempt to come up with some sort of answer or a little bit more clarity about that problem. Let me give you an example. I think that'll help. I posted something similar to this in class, but I'll move a little bit further on. So let's say the topic that you're looking at is learner motivation. The problem is that learners are not engaging in class discussion. That's your problem. And you say, I see this issue, the students are not having conversations, they're not interested, nothing is really happening in our class discussions. That's the problem. So in terms of what you need to do right now, you stop there. But everyone wants to move forward to the purpose, right? So thinking forward on this exact same topic, the purpose might be, the purpose of the study is for me to do an in-depth interviews with a focus group of students from my class and get more data about why they are not engaging with the class discussion. So the purpose is to come to a better understanding of why students aren't engaging. So problem, students aren't engaging. Purpose, come to a better understanding of why they aren't engaging. So that's kind of the big difference between the two. You are not addressing with the problem. You're not saying how you're going to address the problem. That comes with the purpose, and that again comes as our next step of the research process. So you might be wondering, gosh, why are you harping on dividing these out so carefully? Again, remember, our big idea, or I'm sorry, our big goal in this course is to understand very clearly the basics of the research process and the basic steps of the research process. And these are two of the most basic that you have to be able to establish and articulate your problem. And then later on, you get to move on to how are you going to attempt to address or answer that problem? What is the purpose? So coming back to our assignment that's due at the end of this week, which is your area focus and problem statement. This is going to be short. Let me back up for a second. If you have not read the kind of little short overview of this assignment that I posted in this week's module, please make sure you do that as well. But let me give you kind of an audio version of that as well. So for this assignment, it's going to be short, a page or two, double spaced, and you're going to stick to just here's the big topic that I'm addressing, and here's the problem within the topic, the issue at hand. Of course, that needs to be more than, a couple of sentences because you need to give context around that. You can't just say, here's the issue, here's the problem, when the reader doesn't understand what the context is. So that's kind of where that page or two fills in with the context. Um, you are encouraged to add resources to this, so you're not just if you're putting information out there that is known information, please give the resources for that using the APA citations. I'm not telling you need X number of resources, but just whatever is applicable for how you're writing this. Essentially, what this first assignment is going to be the introduction to your study as a whole. So go back, read a couple of the studies that we posted in class and that we've done things with in class, other things that you have read, and you can kind of structure more or less this first assignment around what those introductions look like and the kind of information that they have in them. I have the 2 former student projects posted here in class as well, so you can see how they approach kind of this introduction. The last thing with this assignment is sometimes folks feel like, I need to wrap this up, I need to give a great summary, and then they want to talk about the purpose. It's okay that you kind of end on a what's next note, because that's really all this is. This is not meant to be a standalone piece. It's meant to be the introduction to a much larger the project that you're working on over the semester as a whole. So I'm okay that it doesn't summarize and wrap up. Okay, folks, I really do hope that helped to give a little bit more clarification to what we're trying to figure out this week in terms of study problems. But please, please, please reach out to me individually if that would be helpful. I'm happy to email, set up a phone conversation, and of course, continue to engage in the class discussions until you come to the point where you feel pretty confident with this, at least this very first step of the research process of the study problems.